everyone's got them, those posters on the wall somewhere in the house. It might be just a little plaque. Maybe you're a minimalist, but there's still something in your house that has a little positive comment on it somewhere that tries to encourage you randomly in the day. We grew up in the 80s, so the thing that first comes to mind, of course, is the little kitty cat hanging from a rope going, just hang in there. And then, of course, in the 90s, you had the poster with the guys in the boat rowing together, and it said teamwork or the power of positive, whatever it was. And then, of course, we entered the digital age, and now we just send memes to each other. Whatever it is, you've got something there that tries to encourage you each and every day. And the reason that we tend to write these little quotes down, maybe it's a scripture, maybe it's a deep philosophical thought, maybe it's a Homer Simpson quote in the case of Heath McSelvin. But there's something there. The reason we write those things is we just need a little bit of joy to hit us in the face in the morning, because how many of us just start the day simply exhausted? One of the ones that's really famous, and if you're a person of faith, if you have scriptures maybe written around the place, you might have this one written down. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. Here's what I want to ask Isaiah. Isaiah, when you were writing that scripture, did you actually consider the poor parent who's trying to organize a holiday and is exhausted before they begin? My name's Justin. This is Father Figures. Let's get into the chats. In the podcast spaceship with me today, again, McSelvin, what's up?
Oh, man, it's always good to be in the spaceship. Is this a spaceship?
It is now.
Well, let's call it that.
Well, we're fathers, and we're trying to figure out how to use our imaginations now that the world has crushed them.
Our kids have stolen them from us. Oh.
I used to be able to sit on a park bench and imagine all sorts of things. Now I've got nothing.
Now you sit on a park bench and you can't get up. It's like, that's it.
Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. If I say to you the phrase exhausted before you begin, what comes to mind?
Oh, my goodness. I think that what comes to mind is when I wake up in the morning. You just wake up and go, oh, my goodness, what has just happened overnight? There's been no solid... Remember when you used to get, 8, maybe even 10 hours?
Yeah.
I mean, you were a big sleeper back
definitely.
in the day.
Yeah, I'm a big day sleeper.
Of solid sleep. Man,
I could have a morning nap, an afternoon nap, and still sleep all night. Like that's I'm wired.
Your superpower is sleeping.
Sleep,
There's no doubt about it. I've seen you sleep on tours that we've done together in weird spots, and you just keep sleeping.
My parents tell these stories of if they'd lost me, like at church or at whatever, somewhere, I'd fallen asleep. I was asleep somewhere. That was me. So I apparently, I'll have to check with the jury, but apparently I fell asleep under a clothes rack in a shop one time. Mum couldn't find me
under the clothes rack.
Obviously,
it's a nice spot.
We all like the snuggly spots, right? So under the, you're in Kmart, you jump under one of those things.
Yeah.
Apparently, I just decided to have a nap there.
I wish my kids would fall asleep like that. I'd be happy if
here's
they
the
did.
tip. Here's the hot tip, ladies and gentlemen. You think it's about creating a beautiful environment in the kid's bedroom?
Yeah.
No. Just get a Kmart clothes rack.
Yeah.
Stick it in the lounge room. And they can hide under it.
Yep, put a sheet up over the couch and go, here you go, guys, there's sleep, just go.
So, and I would say, for me, one of the parenting tricks over the years has been actually genuinely to let go of the idea that they have to stay in the bedroom that we created for them.
It's true. I mean, my kids only recently, the two younger boys, one of them's now sleeping in his bed in the bedroom.
Oh.
And that's only recent.
Yeah.
Like he was on the couch for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Would sleep on the couch every night. The other one still sleeps in bed with me.
Wow.
And sleeps in bed with his mum when he's at his mum's.
Okay. Yeah. And there's all sorts of we could get into that.
Oh, there's a whole episode
probably
there,
a whole
right
episode
there.
in that.
Crikeys.
But the whole idea of that the Lord will renew your strength, right? I mean, it's a great scripture.
Sure.
You've probably got it on a tea coaster somewhere.
Yeah.
But when it comes to what is it that actually, because I think there is a difference between feeling awake enough to do the task you need to do and feeling motivated to do the task. Because when you're motivated, especially as a parent, you can, it doesn't matter how little sleep, if you need to rescue the child, if you need to take the child to the doctor, if the adrenaline will kick in and you will just do it. But what is it that renews your strength, I guess?
Yeah, it's a great question, isn't it? And I think
only ask good questions. I keep telling you.
Really?
Okay.
So-
I've got my average questions for the next episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was useless audio. Keep going.
So I think the things that renew my strength, ironically, are probably things around the kids, doing stuff with the kids, whether that's, not so much playing with them, because I feel like I'm getting really old and I can't, kick the ball with them like I used to. But like,
Dad kicked the ball once. He did another hammy.
Yeah, I tell you, my son had me doing it last night in the hallway. Where you close all the doors in the hallway and you play soccer. We did that. But anyway, I think it is those moments of doing something with the kids. Whether that be building something or sometimes it's just, it's going to sound weird, sitting down and watching random YouTube clips. Yeah, it's like it energizes me because I'm genuinely enjoying it. The kids are genuinely enjoying it, and it really does start to fill your cup.
I have watched more random reviews of tech in the last 6 months than I have because that's what my kids like. They like they like the review of the new iPhone or whatever. The other thing they're loving is the guys that rebuild Lamborghinis.
Oh,
they
right.
buy a smashed chassis and they rebuild it.
Yep.
And they could watch that for hours. And you're right, just sitting beside them, showing that you're interested too.
Yeah.
And thankfully, those things are so well produced.
Yeah,
now that you're like,
that you are genuine. I found that there's a couple of YouTubers that I will often watch when the boys aren't even around.
Oh no, that's cheating, Dad.
Because I want to go.
You cheated.
Yeah, sometimes like one of them, like if you've ever watched Mr. Beast,
of course,
we've
eaten all of his products.
Of course, yep. But one of my kids has gone off Mr. Beast a little bit.
Okay.
And so every time a new episode drops, I'm like, hey, do you want to watch Mr. Beast? He goes, no, not really. And I'm like, well, I'm going to watch it. So I'll start watching. He'll leave the room. And I'll sit there and watch like the episode of Mr. Beast.
Wow.
It's crazy.
The reverse of most of you've turned into the child. Well done. Well done.
Well, this is good content. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about.
So but it renews your strength because, and it's so simple, but you are just in the same space as your child. So for me, with my 18-year-old, with Noah, one of the best things I can do is sit with him while he flicks through reels on his phone.
Yeah, right.
And laugh at the same things he's laughing at. Because there is the language these days of sharing reels with each other, and that's like, hey, I thought of you, and here's something funny to do. But actually sitting there and just, because, that's an endless process. You're a parent. You think to start this process, I don't know how long this is going to go for. Yeah. So you have to kind of intuit it. But that's been amazing.
Yep.
But the simple things, I want to ask you in a minute, because I think it's worth discussing. Life is a highway and I want to ride it all night long is a good place to start. But again, I don't think the writer of that song was thinking about riding the highway with 5 kids in the back of the car whilst trying to head out on a holiday.
It turned, became famous in a movie, Lightning DeQueen, as my kids would call it.
DeQueen.
Lightning DeQueen.
Is that his hip-hop name?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Lightning DeQueen.
Lightning DeQueen in the house. In this particular case, a family had literally bought into a very small park, into a caravan park, an 80, an 80cc motorbike. And the dad was allowing, I think the children would have been 8, 9, 10, somewhere there, allowing them to ride it around the playground with other families. And you could see, and I'm sure I was projecting, but I was like, surely other people are getting, I've got 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds playing in the park here, and they don't know what to do.
Yep.
So I walked up to the dad, who's a very alpha male dad.
Yeah.
Very, he worked out a little more than I do.
Yeah, right.
Let's put it that way. And so I had to do the stern word, and it was embarrassing for me. And there was a whole lot of things at play. I was worried that my kids would be embarrassed.
Yep.
Like, Dad, don't do that. You're embarrassing.
Yeah.
I was worried that this guy wouldn't hear me. Yeah. And so I was putting on my best diplomacy kind of act. And I was nervous and worried. And also, you're in a caravan park. They're probably staying here, and we're probably going to have to see them tomorrow. And the day after that as well. So all of that to say, the outcome was through a few things, the dad said, "Oh, okay, mate, we won't do that." To me, it was so blindingly obvious that you should not ride a motorbike around a small park.
Yeah.
Those things are built for paddocks.
Yeah.
And by the way, there were paddocks right next to us
Yep.
that they could have ridden in. And I was waiting for the caravan park staff or somebody to come and say, "Hey, please don't do that." But yeah, it was an interesting one, and it was one of those moments. Again, we're on holidays. I'm trying to relax here, and this is stressing me out, and it stressed me out for the next 2 days because we did see those people for the next 2 days, but created a core memory for my kids.
I was about to say, the upshot is best holiday moment when you got angry with the kids on the motorbike, Dad. Oh, that's the best.
And
I love it.
I didn't raise my voice, but they, kids know your body language changes.
Yeah.
But again, it took away from my ability to relax on my holiday. So not only have we driven the entire family and the luggage and all of the things a couple of hours down the road, few hours down the road, which is, you're exhausted before you begin.
Yeah.
Now I'm in the place where I'm supposed to be relaxing. And now I'm going, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the story of parenting.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy right now. Why do I have to be that guy?
It reminds me of a sort of an anecdote that Jerry Seinfeld tells of when you're going on holiday with your family. Yeah. And you're packing the car, and Dad's packing the car, and he's got everything just packed perfectly, and he gets the kids in one side, and puts the seatbelts on and straps them in, and opens the door for his wife, and lets his wife get in, close the door, and everyone's in the car. And he said, "The holiday I have is when I walk from that side of the car around to the driver's side, and that's my little holiday." And then I get in and I go, and I'm like, that is so true. I remember, just normally you get the kids in the car and you do all those things, and you're like, this is just my 30 seconds of just here I can. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
I think the joke is that dad's in the dunny, right? So I saw someone say, it was another reel. I sent it to my wife, but the reel was a lady sitting there on the computer asking AI to generate the perfect holiday for her husband. and the Enya music starts playing, and there's a toilet on the edge of a cliff, so he has a good view, and there's a toilet in the middle, like with a glass box, or it's so just good. Toilets
that's great.
In beautiful places. Yeah. Because honestly, when you wake up in the morning, you think, it's game on. Yeah. It's game on. What have I got to do today? Yeah. The extra 10 minutes sleep can actually be more stressful than helpful. Yeah. Because now you've pushed the clock back by 10 minutes. And so I think about those moments, and we laugh about them, but sitting on the toilet, chilling for whatever, however long you can get away with it, until you hear the next child yell, basically.
Without a doubt. My kids just said to me the other night about, being in the toilet, he said, "Dad, you just sit there and you scroll on your phone, and you're just gone for so long." Yeah. I go, "Do you realise it's the only time that I get where you're not asking me for something?"
Okay, now riddle me this. Now I'm in a conundrum because I tell my kids they're not allowed to take their phones with them into places. They're like, "You do." Yeah,
it's true. I tell my oldest he's not allowed to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's because our parents had newspapers.
Yeah, that's true. If I had a newspaper, I'd take the newspaper in for sure.
So the ecosystem of holidays, I reckon, has changed a lot. And I think our generation of parents is struggling to find the new groove. Again, you're in a co-parenting situation. Jody and I are both working. Yep. You guys are...
Yeah, well, we both work,
Yeah, both working. Yeah. Our parents were probably the last generation where maybe one parent didn't have to work, although in our case...
Yeah, both parents
worked. My parents worked in churches and in schools. Yep. So largely when they were school teaching, they, of course, got the same 2-week breaks that we got. Yep. But, I remember going to my grandparents. Yeah. Like every school, that was what we did. Where are you going to go? I'm going to Inverloch, Grandma's house. Yep. And it was maybe 3 days. She would have, and now I look back and I think, man, there must have been tense negotiations. Can you give us 4 days? I'll give you 2. How about 3?
You can imagine. Yeah, it's very different, isn't it? Because my memory's similar of I was fortunate my grandparents literally lived probably 150 metres down the road.
Oh, wow.
When growing up. Yep. So I spent a lot of time at my grandma and my granddad's. And I think during the school holidays, gosh, that word school holidays, that is a bit of PTSD right there as a parent, was spent down at my grandma and granddad's. But I felt like there was an ability as I got older to sort of go back home, walk back up to home to do a couple of things or grab something and could go back down again. And
You're living in Everybody Loves Raymond.
yeah.
It's amazing.
It was a little bit like that.
So our family was more scattered. So we were
Yep.
living in Gippsland. A lot of our aunties and uncles were in Melbourne. One auntie and uncle were in Brizzy. Grandma was down the coast a little further.
Yeah.
So we didn't have that exact proximity.
Yep.
But I also, so as much as I remember going to grandma's for 2 to 3 days, things like that, I also remember being left at home a lot more.
Yeah.
Where I don't think that's
that's true.
as okay as it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has that changed for you guys?
Yeah,
How do you go with that?
I remember being left home a bit as well. And I think, back in the day, so to speak, there was a phone on the wall at home, and wherever mum or dad were working, they had a phone at their desk, and so you could always ring, and it was fine.
Yeah.
So nowadays, when kids are younger, like my kids, only my oldest kid has got a phone. The other one's not getting phones at 10 and 8. So if they're home alone, even just when I duck down to the shops, I'm very aware that I can't contact them at all because we don't have a home phone.
Yeah.
Whereas I think when we were kids, it was a little, and it was just, that was the done thing.
So that added anxiety, I guess, for parents. That
Yeah, I
added
imagine it
anxious
did.
thought of, where are the kids right now all the time?
Yeah.
And again, we'll only know in hindsight. In 20 years' time, they'll tell us what we were doing right and wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's part of the ecosystem that has changed, I think, of the I'll leave and the kid will be fine.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So what do you do now? Sorry to interrupt you, but what do you do now? You've got, what goes through your mind when you realise there's 2 weeks of school holidays coming up?
Well, I go to the toilet for a lot.
On the cliff
Just
with the box.
in the dunny for 2 weeks. You won't see me for 2 weeks. Well, this is the whole thing is that I look at it now. Our situation is 18, 16, 11 and 7. The twins are 7. Almost 8, I should say. And so really different interests, really different mobility. My 16 and 18-year-old are like, we're going into town or whatever. And so now it's actually harder now than it's ever been because I almost have to have a staff meeting at the start of the day. Where's everyone going? So honestly, I liked it. I liked it when there was specific things that happened. We used to go to Hillsong Conference every year as kids, as a family. And for the first few years with my kids, we did the same thing. It was fun. They loved the Kids Song thing, and it was a great program.
Which was up in Sydney?
Up in Sydney. So there was a sort of something in the diary, and it was fun. And we made a big adventure of it. We'd always go and see a couple of sites as well. Post-pandemic, none of that. I can't. There were other things that we would do, but those rhythms just never returned.
Yeah.
So that's a long-winded way of saying on about the Thursday or Friday of the last week of term, that's when I go, I should probably think of something to do.
Yeah. Isn't it where you get to that week before school holidays are starting and you've looked in your diary and you go, oh, heck, I got the next 2 weeks with the kids home. What am I going to do? I haven't pre-thought this.
And I'm not the guy that loves to... I don't know. I don't have the train set in the shed that we can build. I'm like, should we build a Lego? Should we do a thing and whatever? So I don't have that. And I get a little bit of that. Am I failing as a dad?
Yep.
Because you do. We're all very mature and grown up and certainly don't compare ourselves to other parents. I was just waiting for the wisdom there.
Yeah.
So, and these days people are... When they go somewhere, you see the photo of it. You see they post, hey, we're here and we're there and we're doing this. Everyone's smiling in the picture, of course, because they don't show you the tantrum that happened just beforehand. But I felt like a failure in a lot of these spaces of I haven't saved up the money. I haven't booked the special experience. And I've got friends that are so good at that. You might know this already, but I'm a rather spontaneous person. And sometimes people have accused me of not planning. But it is something that I'm really aware of and something that as a parent, I often feel that. Do you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really different because I think what this spontaneity for kids is a very different expectation than it is for an adult. And I think what the kids want to do as spontaneous is, hey, can we stop now and watch a movie? Like, that's spontaneous. That's
Gotcha.
what they want to do. I think what we think is, gosh, we haven't organised to go to Puff and Billy on the train, or we haven't organised to do this or that. They quite often just want to do that simple thing. They just want to hang out.
So for me, part of the tools that you can have in your arsenal as a parent are, what are 5 things around the house that you could just do? Because cooking has a process to it, and it has an outcome. There's a very reasonable expectation at the end of the cooking process, we'll then eat together.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, even if you don't love cooking, even if it's just, we're going to make cheese toasties.
Yep.
We're going to make the greatest cheese toastie we've ever made.
Yeah.
I'm going to put 3 slices in instead of 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to put extra butter on the outside.
Yeah.
Some of those things, I want this to be an encouraging conversation, because, again, I do feel the pressure at times and the comparison pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted before I begin.
Yeah.
So I woke up today thinking, oh my goodness, it's the first Monday of school holidays, and I haven't thought of how to entertain these children.
Yeah.
And that's where I pick myself up and go, I don't think I'm supposed to entertain the children.
Yep.
I can maybe take them places, but the long drive to the new park in town, or the short drive, because every drive for a kid is a long drive.
Yeah, that's true.
But do you have things in the diary it's been a few years since your separation, and obviously pandemic happened, and so there's been a million interruptions for you. Have you found rhythms of school holidays? Do you approach knowing what's going to happen?
Yeah, we tend to follow the same model as we do during school, when school is on. So I have the boys the front half of the week, and their mum has them the back half of the week. So we follow the same model during school holidays. So I know I've got them on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yeah.
School holidays.
So do you have an unfair advantage over me in that you have 3 days to plan the following 3 days?
Yeah, well, that's true. Then I get a couple of days of going, right, now I'm actually going to go into the office and work versus work from home for 3 days.
Yeah.
But we just keeping that rhythm is pretty important.
So tell me about the simple things that work for you.
Yeah. Quite often I'll find every day we'll wake up in the school holidays and one of my kids will say, so what do we got planned for today?
And the anxiety hits you in the face straight away.
And so I do the flip straight away and go, what have you got planned for today?
Oh, come on.
Yeah. And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, if you can come up with some ideas, then we can talk about it.
Right.
But I'm not going to, I'm not going to
imagination.
come up with all the ideas because I don't know. And sometimes, generally speaking, they'll like, can we go to the op shop?
The op shop.
Yep, love going to the op shop.
Because you can do, here's $5 or
Exactly
whatever.
right. Here's $10,
Yeah.
and they can come home with 6 things.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Something really dead simple.
Yeah.
It's never anything extravagant. It's never, can we go to the Luna Park and ride all the rides? It's never anything like that.
As the kids have gotten older and as our tribes got bigger,
Yeah.
if you're a parent of one child, and I was talking to some parents the other day, they've got one child, and so when they go to travel, they can essentially think about adult travel and then include a child.
Yeah.
So they were saying that's a bit of an advantage. There's other disadvantages to that as well, in that, the adult to child type of activity choice is still difficult. But if I could encourage the parents who have, maybe larger tribes, or in your case, 2 parents working from different homes, the simple stuff is the drawing, the making up a story, the walking along. I remember some of the things I used to love doing. I like going to the city.
Yep. That's
and
a good one.
staring at the buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Look
a
up
great one.
and tell me all the shapes you can see or whatever. And often in the city, there's free activities around the place too. Sometimes too, and this is where my spontaneity comes in handy, is we're going to start a journey. I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But we'll find something.
Yeah. You're right. The city trip's a great one. For us, it's an hour on the train. We're on a V-line track, similar to you, hour straight into the city, and we'll walk down and we might get an ice cream.
Yeah.
And then we might go to Fed Square.
Yeah.
And they'll just run around there, and then we'll jump on the train and come home.
Yeah.
And they've had a great day.
Great day.
And it's cost me $20 worth of ice cream.
Yeah, and I love the gallery. My kids love the gallery and those sort of spaces where the actual physical spaces are beautiful.
Yeah.
So they're going in and out of beautiful spaces. But of course, I love the city. My wife likes the ocean.
Yeah, right.
So she'll go, let's go to the beach and look for shells. I'm thinking, are you going to shake the sand off your feet before you get back in the car?
You're thinking, how's the Yarra for you?
Yeah.
Do you reckon is that the same?
But ultimately, I think when it comes to any sort of school holiday, especially that summer holiday that stares you down, like, good luck, 6 weeks ahead of you, good luck, and you're counting down the days of going back to school. The KISS principle. Keep it simple.
Silly. Yeah.
Because you can't say stupid, because
No,
that's a naughty word.
Yeah.
So if I come back to this thought of he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary and young men stumble and fall, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. I actually do come back to a little prayer.
Yeah.
That is, dear Lord, help.
Yeah.
Please renew my strength today and look for those simple moments of joy, those simple moments of pleasure. Before we finish up, give me a great memory of a childhood holiday.
Great memory of a childhood holiday. We hired a camper van back in the day, but an old school camper van.
Yeah.
And I was sleeping on the top bunk and I fell out of the top bunk and got wedged in, because it was really small space, got wedged in between the dining room table, if you like, and a wardrobe and couldn't move. Mum and Dad, I don't know, they were sleeping outside. And I'm just curled up. I don't know what's happened. I'm asleep. And then Dad eventually comes in and goes, "What have you done?" I'm like, I don't know. I was asleep and now I'm here. It's like Dad, with Dad's strength, just kind of picks you up, pops me back into bed. I'm like, I don't want to go back up there.
So the lesson is just create random accidents for your children.
Yeah.
And they'll remember it. I love it, man. But yeah, keeping it simple, allowing time to pass and just, yeah.
Don't overthink it.
Right? Don't
overthink
overthink it, including how to end a podcast. I haven't got a thought, but that was fun chatting, man. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go make a drawing with you.
Oh, can we do that?
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Oh, we could build Legos.
Pretend we're on holidays.
Oh, well, we're already pretending we're in a spaceship. Oh, actually, no, but now we have to figure out the hierarchy of the spaceship. Who's the captain?
Well, that's definitely not me.
Oh, look at you ceding authority. Oh, you're so mature. Because I'm like, I'm the captain. No.
Yeah, no, because I know what the captain has to do. There's a lot of responsibilities as captain. I just want to enjoy the spaceship.
Speaking of figuring out fatherhood, we hope your imaginations are going wild, and good luck to all the parents. If you're in a holiday space right now, good luck. May your drawings be ever more awkward and your dad jokes be grand. See you next time on Father Figures.
Bye now.